All right, Bears fans, the preseason is in the books and roster cuts are starting to come in. We'll get into that in a second, plus our final roster projection. But with preseason done, week one is just around the corner, and the Bears take on the 49ers. And we've got to beat our 49ers channel here at Chat Sports in new subscribers between now and week one. We're starting fresh, 0 new subscribers from this exact moment. Let's beat them. Subscribe to the channel. Daily videos coming at you here on Chicago Bears Now, so hit that big red button. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. 4 players have been cut by the Bears, which means Chicago now sits at 76 players. That number will have to trim down to 53 by tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time. And, of course, we'll have you covered for that. Another reason to subscribe. But here are the cuts, and then we will have my final roster projection coming at you here. Jean Delance, offensive lineman, he gets cut. Corey Dublin, who signed a couple of weeks ago after some injuries at the center position to help you get through the preseason. He has also been waived. Kevin Shaa, who I thought would get cut before the final preseason game, but he also gets released. And then Jon Alexander, who also signed when Dublin signed to help you get through the preseason, he is now hitting the waiver wire as well. No surprises here, to be quite frank. There's going to be some much tougher decisions coming soon for Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and this staff, but so far no real outliers as the Bears now go from 80 to 76. 23 more to go between now and tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, before we get to my final 53-man roster projection, just wanted to ask you guys, especially those of you living in the greater Chicago area, what is your favorite pizza joint in Chicago? Lots of options to choose from. I want to hear it in the comments. Favorite pizza joint in Chicago. All right, let's get to my final 53-man roster projection here. We'll go position by position here. A couple of changes since last time we did this a few weeks back, so keep that in mind as well. Quarterback, no changes here. Justin Fields the starter, Trevor Siemian the backup. Nathan Peterman will get cut, but he will return to the practice squad. I think it's pretty straightforward. Nothing really to see here. I think they value Peterman on the practice squad. I don't think he's in danger. You're in danger of losing him to another team. All right, running backs, 5 in total when you count the fullback, Akari Blasingame. David Montgomery, the starter. Khalil Herbert as the backup. Trestan Ebner as RB3. And I think Darrington Evans has done enough in the preseason to make this team. In this scheme, they're going to rotate enough. I think keeping him makes sense, and he's got special teams value just like Ebner does. I think Evans has earned a spot, and then like I mentioned, Blasingame makes the roster as well. Let's go to wide receiver. This is tricky. You guys might say, whoa, I'm going 7. 7 receivers make the team, and I'll explain why there is 7 instead of 5 or 6. Darnell Mooney, Equinemius St. Brown, Byron Pringle, Velus Jones Jr., they're all locks. Those 4 are for sure going to make it. I think Dante Pettis has done enough to make this team. Had a really good game on Saturday night. He's got special teams value, and he looks smooth as a route runner in the preseason. Tajay Sharp, who looked great in the first preseason game but has not played or practiced since due to an injury. I think he's back on the bubble, but I've got him making it. And then N'Keal Harry, who is injured right now. I think the Bears want to carry him through the initial 53, so 7 initially are going to make it, but Harry will revert to IR after the initial cuts, which would open up a roster spot, and then the Bears could bring somebody else back, likely at a different position. So I got 7, but it's really 6 because Harry is going to be injured until October. Then once he's healthy, the Bears will obviously have to make a decision at that point. But let's say they don't carry 7, and you can only keep 2 of these 3 guys, Dante Pettis, Tajay Sharp, and N'Keal Harry. Who gets cut? Type DP for Dante Pettis, type TS for Tajay Sharp, type NH for N'Keal Harry. If I had to guess, it's going to be Sharp or Pettis because I think they're going to carry N'Keal through. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Let's go tight end now. Just 3. Cole Kmet, Ryan Griffin, James O'Shaughnessy, and all 3 of these guys are going to have a role, especially Kmet and Griffin. They're going to play a lot, especially since the Bears are going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. Chase Allen had the opportunity in the preseason to show he was worthy of a roster spot. I don't think he makes it, though. He had 0 targets in the final preseason game. That's a bit of a concern to me. I think he really needed to play well there for the Bears to carry 4. I've got 3 for now. Maybe they add a 4th after cuts, but for now, it's just those 3. Offensive line, so I went lighter here. 8 guys make it, and I think they'll add a 9th after N'Keal Harry goes to IR. So the starters, I believe, will be what we've seen the last couple of weeks. Braxton Jones, Cody Whitehair. Lucas Patrick, once he's healthy, he's questionable for the opener. Maybe he misses a game. If that's the case, Mustipher will start, but Patrick will obviously make it. Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum, Jatiri Carter, Sam Mustipher, and then Riley Reef make this team. And you're probably wondering, wait, what about Michael Schofield? I have him getting cut and then returning after N'Keal Harry goes to injured reserve. So he'll come back. Sure, there's a chance another team signs him, but as a vet, he won't have to hit waiver wires, I don't believe, which means you can kind of have the understanding with him, hey, we're going to bring you back. He's on a vet minimum contract anyway, so it's not going to cost him financially. They'll bring him back after cuts once N'Keal Harry goes to IR. At least that is my prediction. Before we go to the defensive side of the ball, BetUS is back for another season with us as our sportsbook partner, so we appreciate them. And if you want to make money all season long, you can do so. Create an account today by going to chatsports.com/Bears. Use the promo code BEARDOWN to get 125% deposit bonus. $100 down, you'll get an additional $125 for free. We got some college football this weekend. Plus, week 1 odds are out. They still have the 49ers as 7.5-point favorites despite that game being in Chicago. I like the Bears to at least cover, if not potentially win that game. Over under at 41.5. Go bet on this one if you're feeling confident. I like the cover for sure. Bears, I think, are going to be a big cover team this year. Chatsports.com/Bears. Promo code is BEARDOWN to get going with BetUS. All right, let's go defense now as we continue my 53-man roster projection. 10 defensive linemen. Had 11 last time with Sam Kamara. Don't have him making it this time. Starters, Robert Quinn, Justin Jones, Angelo Blackson, Travis Gibson, Dominique Robinson, Al-Qadim Muhammad, the backup edges. Mario Edwards, who can play inside and out. I think that allows the Bears some flexibility here to maybe go one lighter and keep a guy like Kamara not making it. Kyrus Tonga, I think, makes it, although he could be a surprise cut. Keep an eye on Tonga. Trayvon Coley showed enough in the preseason, as did UDFA Micah Treadway. They're both on the bubble, but I have them both making this team. Sam Kamara firmly on the bubble. Like I mentioned, I had him making it last time. I just think you have enough versatility there with Edwards, who can play edge or inside. So for now, I'll have him getting cut, but I could see a scenario where Sam Kamara makes this 53-man roster. We'll have to wait and see over the next 24 hours. All right, linebacker now. 5 players, 1 change here compared to last time. Roquan, Nick Morrow, they're locks, obviously. I think Matthew Adams is safe, although he could be a deep dark horse to get cut, but I think he'll make the team initially. Joe Thomas, I've got him making it this time. I had Caleb Johnson last time. Don't have him this time. And then Jack Sanborn, I think, showed enough as an undrafted free agent, especially on special teams. I think he'll be the 5th linebacker. Cornerback here. I went 5 this time, and quite frankly, after the first 3, this continues to be the biggest crapshoot due to injuries in the preseason. So Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Kendall Vilder. I've got Thomas Graham Jr. making it, even though he missed all the preseason. I like the upside there. I think he's worth keeping around. Greg Stroman Jr. kind of came on the last couple of weeks, had a pick in the last game as well. I've got him making it. Don't feel great about it, but he's got 3 years of NFL experience. Tavon Young, Duke Shelley, Lamar Jackson, who all could make this team, depending on what the Bears do at corner. I've got them getting cut, but corner's the hardest to project because I have no idea what they're going to do after those first 3 guys of Vilder, Johnson, and, of course, Kyler Gordon. I will say this. I think adding a cornerback after NFL roster cuts, Wednesday or Thursday here, very likely. I do think the Bears need to do something there, especially at that outside corner spot. You've got multiple options at nickel if you want to keep Graham, Tavon Young. Kyler Gordon's going to play some nickel too. But I think corner's a tricky one right now for Chicago. They could certainly add a vet at that position. Do the Bears need to sign a cornerback after cuts? I believe the answer is yes. What do you guys think? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let us know down in the comment section below. All right, let's go to safety here. No changes. 5 players. Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker, they're your starters. DHC, DeAndre Houston Carson, who also can play some nickel, so that gives you versatility at corner if you want to go lighter there. Elijah Hicks, the rookie, who had a touchdown in that second game, scoop and score on special teams, and then Dane Cruikshank makes it as well. I think all 5 are fairly safe. Hicks and Cruikshank maybe on the bubble, but I think I feel pretty good about this one. These 5 players make it. All right, special teams to wrap it up. Obviously no change. Cairo Santos, the kicker. Trenton Gills, your punter, and then Patrick Scales, the long snapper, sticks around as well. And there you go. 53-man roster projection. Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. I feel good about 50, 51 or so. I think receiver and corner are the two toughest ones. Offensive line probably third. Defensive line can get tough too because it's a deeper position. But let me know how you guys think I did, and let me know what changes you would make down in the comments section. All right, and then I did want to just kind of throw some names up here, some notable cuts, projected cuts, I should say. Jake Tonjes, who flashed as a fullback in the preseason. I'd like to see him back on the practice squad as security if Blasingame gets injured. Isaiah Coulter, who had a strong preseason. I've got him getting cut. Chase Allen, I mentioned him, didn't do much in the final game, but I think he's a practice squad candidate. I mentioned Michael Schofield. I do think he would return after N'Keal Harry goes to IR, but I think he could be the biggest surprise cut candidate. Keep an eye on him. Zachary Thomas, the rookie, I think he comes back to the practice squad. I mentioned Sam Kamara. Caleb Johnson, good special teams player. Would like to see him on the practice squad. Would be okay with him on the roster, quite frankly. Tavon Young, Duke Shelley, Lamar Jackson, mentioned all of them. Cornerback, very, very tough to figure out at this point in time. All right, that's going to do it for now. 4 players get cut. My final roster projection. Stick with us here. Good chance we'll have another video later today with some more news and rumors, especially if some notable cuts come in. So subscribe, turn on those notifications. Plus, tomorrow's the day final 53-man roster is released. So stick around for that because we will certainly have you covered. We'll be live tomorrow, probably at our normal time, 3 Central Time, maybe a few minutes after if that roster isn't finalized publicly yet, but that's exactly when it's supposed to drop. So subscribe, and we'll keep you guys in the loop here on Bears Now.